Guess what? Within a space of having that conversation with him, I got access to this person. Just from the guy washing at the car park. Like I always say, the road will be rough. See failure as a reason to succeed. Having a can-do spirit is also very important because when you face challenges in life, it helps you to become stronger. And another thing is also to relearn. So I grab from people's perspective individually to help my decision making. Most importantly for me is mindset. Understand that you have to just get it done. Also document your failures as well too, so that you can learn from the lessons you've been able to see along the way, and it helps you to become a better person in the future. When a particular deal is not going in my favor, I always ask the client a question: why are you not going with my solution? Until the deal is back home, don't believe it's yours.
This is where we talk about uncovering the path to success, where we discuss the resilience, the grit, and the dedication that goes into a successful journey. Today, we'll be having a great guy who has done remarkably well in the field of sales, precisely tech sales, who has tried business across border, and he'll be talking about how he was able to achieve that success. So, let's welcome Mr. Olusegun Olabode Ajakaiye.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for such an opportunity, and I must commend what you've been doing. And this is quite a laudable initiative, like I told you, and I think we should have more of this, to be able to put context or put people in the limelight, and also to help educate, people. Yeah, thanks once again. So yeah, my name is Olusegun Olabode Ajakaiye, and I grew up in a family of four kids, which I happen to be the fourth. And growing up for me has been an amazing journey. And interestingly, I went to a primary school called St. Maurice in Bagada, and from there, yeah, I went to a national college, which was a secondary school also in Bagada as well too. And from National College, I went to Tech International High School in Bad Ogudu. And from there, I think interestingly for me as an individual is, being surrounded with people who push you to become the best version of yourself. And there's growing up, I was opportune to be exposed to certain things that helped, shaped me as an individual to who I am till today. And from Tech, I went to Olabisi Onabanjo University, where I did my diploma degree for 1 year. And from there, I went to Lagos State University to study business administration. Interestingly, the journey has been quite, a wonderful one, because I think I was lucky to also be exposed to parents who were willing to support my vision, who saw the need why education is, a priority for their children. Back in the days, there are several memories I still, try to remember. I had an amazing teachers, from my biology teacher down to my Yoruba teacher. Interestingly, I could remember there was a time where, because I was part of the cultural team, and my Yoruba teacher was someone who is very, like, when you say someone who is a very strong, like a disciplinarian, and I could remember during one of the sessions, he wanted me to perform, during the traditional ceremonies we had in school, and it was quite an event. And he said, "Segun, you have to be the one to play the talking drum." And I could remember how interesting, it was for me learning the talking drum. And even up until now, I think I can still, do some, give some tunes with the talking drum. And for me, I think those moments are quite remarkable, because I was exposed to teachers who were quite supportive of their students, and I was also, had a very good, classmates who we still maintain very good communication with up until today. Back in the days in school as well, so I was part of the chess club, and it was in school I learned how to play chess, and also it was in school I learned how to play basketball as well too, because at some point I told my dad that I don't think I want to go to the university to do my regular 4 years or 5 years in school. I wanted to go play full-time MBA. And I remember the time I told my dad, he was like, "No, you have to go to school first, And once you're in school, you have to play basketball in the school team. But I think for me, that moment was quite an emotional one because I wanted to play full-time basketball. I always look forward to being part of a system, and by being part of a system, by adding my voice, to leadership. Interestingly, when I was in BAMSA, I would call it BAMSA back in the days, that's Business Administration Students Association, where we get to, speak on behalf of the business administration students. So I was part of the SCG as well in Ikorodu campus back then. And I think for me, it was quite an interesting, one to be able to be exposed to what it's like to be part of SUG and to be able to take decisions on behalf of the students and also to have like a close-door interaction with the management as well too. And I could remember vividly well certain issues we had, where we talk about stakeholder meeting and trying to see how best to speak to the management to be able to reach like an agreement with the students. It was quite an interesting journey for me, and I think such leadership roles is part of what everyone should try to embrace because it helps you to be exposed to certain cultures and certain aspects of the society, to be part of something that makes things thrive as a leader. And even if no matter how little it is, I always encourage youths to be part of a system. And when I mean part of a system, like be responsible to have your voice to bring in societal change. So I think that's one key thing or key attribute I will say I really could take out of my days in LASU as well too. And interestingly, okay, so another thing I also want to take from my days in LASU, because it's like I said, it was a part-time course, was ability to be able to balance my 9 to 5 with studies. And interestingly, it was not an easy task for me because imagine you have to be responsible to be available during the day in some occasions where you have to attend some classes. But I think for me it was quite a tough and difficult time because trying to juggle between corporate career world and also my education was quite a tough time for me. But I would say those are the traits and attributes that makes an individual quite resilient. And like I always say, the road was never meant to be easy, right? And at every point in time, it's just to be able to brace up to the challenge at a particular time, giving your best and try as much as possible to remember what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day, which is the goal. I think for me, I started certain things, decision making at an early stage, which helped me to be able to be adept and ready for the corporate world. And because I was able to learn from certain decisions I made at an early stage, and it helped shape my decisions to where I am today. And like I mentioned earlier, when I was in Olabisi and Obanja, I was working in a brand consulting firm after I worked as a teacher, earning 8,000 naira per month. And but for me, I see beyond the work. I try to put myself in it, and I try to also learn from whatever I'm doing. And I think that mindset has helped to shape me to who I am till today. Even at 8,000 naira per month, I could remember certain things I was able to do, even though I had parents who were able to financially, sort certain things. But I just had that independent spirit to be able to, take certain decisions at an early stage in my life and be ready for the corporate world. And interestingly, I could remember vividly well, even with the 8,000 naira I was earning back then, I could remember certain things I was buying and also putting certain bills, for myself and also for, people around me. And interestingly, I think that resilient spirit, which I still put to work till date, has helped me across every area and every place I've worked throughout my career. Over to you, please. Yeah, I'll say yes. But interestingly, I feel most parents get it wrong when they try to enforce certain principles in their children. Because, for instance, if I'm a doctor, if I'm a lawyer, I see parents who will say, okay, because I'm a lawyer, you have to follow in that trajectory and you have to follow in that line. And I feel most African parents, make that mistake of trying to enforce or trying to advise their children to take that particular path. But I'll say for me as a parent is to try to connect with the child, see what they love from when they are young, For instance, my kids, I know what their passion is, even from age 5. I know what my son, who is a 10-year-old, I know what he wants because I see he likes drawing. And interestingly, it's my responsibility to see how best he can achieve that trajectory in his life. So yes, parents have a part to play, but their responsibility as parents is not to enforce, but their responsibility as parents is to see and connect and help them nurture that path, at the same time too. For instance, we see parents who say, you must not be a musician. Why would you say that to your child? If he wants to be a musician, connect him to someone who will help bring him to the spotlight. And that's my mantra, and that's what I believe in life. But I feel parents try to enforce, certain principles or certain thoughts in their kids, which I feel is a very wrong thing. Thanks, Michael, for that. So I'll say for me, and this is for every parent out there and everyone, try as much as possible to expose your kids to a mentor, and because it helps them, have a clear path. And even if you don't have, kids who you can mentors who you can pick, try as much as possible to let them, create a path and help them choose the right path. Recommend, let me use the word recommend now. I'll say during my early days in my career, I started as an executive assistant to a brand consulting firm, and whilst working, I think the interesting part for me was trying to connect myself to the job and also get to see what happens operations, strategy, try to be involved in the brand consulting aspect of the business. And I think interestingly is also to be able to be part of the dots of the moving parts within an organization. And interestingly for me, during those period of time, I was also trying to see what career I was going to choose at the long run. And I think it got to a point where I got to the peak of my career as an EA, where I asked myself, how many companies can pay me what I currently earn? So I was like, before I will get a company that will pay me what I currently earn, when I got to the peak of my career as an EA, I just looked at it that most companies would not be able to afford to pay me that much. So what I just did was to switch career, and it was a moment when I need to ask myself, what do you want to do? And interestingly, I've been exposed to people who are top sales guys globally, and most of them keep telling me, come and do sales. But for me, it was quite scary, I'll use that word, because imagine you hearing that you have a target of $1 million or $10 million to achieve at the end of the day. It was a big word for me. But I was lucky to work with top execs, top executive directors, top MDs, of big companies in the tech industry. And these are people who allowed me to make certain failures, to fail fast and to learn. And interestingly, these I'll say are the people that helped me to get my house in order and to be able to make the decisions I wanted to make as a salesman. So I started from supporting the sales guys, so when there are deals, I co-founded an organization where we have top executive assistants and EAs and technical assistants to directors and to MDs, of a couple of banks in Nigeria. And so I have like that network of people. So what I did was to be supporting the sales guys when they have some deals they want to push. I connect them to some people who can help them push those deals. And I was seeing how things were done. So that was me volunteering myself to be part of a moving part. And at the end of the day, I was involved in starting conversations as a pre-sales. I was involved in speaking sub-languages. I was involved in operations. I was involved with strategy. So because I was working with the MD back then, starting meetings, closed-door meetings with top execs or top directors within this team, I was seeing the languages they were speaking. I was seeing the way they were trying to converse, And for me, I was also involving myself in the operational level of starting conversations. And after a while, it just became like a lifestyle to me. And when I now needed to move full-time into sales, I was given a role as, regional account manager for a tech company in Nigeria. And so I was involved with accounts in Nigeria, in other parts of West Africa. So it now became a lifestyle for me. And one thing I'll always remember, one of my directors mentioned, he said, Segun, in your day one as a salesperson, don't forget to fail. But when you fail fast. That word till today is my number one mantra, because I believe in the power of failing. Because when you fail, you learn and you try to fix whatever it is that made you fail. And at the end of the day, when you're successful, you remember what brought you there. So it's an advice I always give young people, right? Don't be afraid to fail, because in failing, it helps you become a better version of yourself. So my journey in sales has been an interesting one, because I've had several stories, several encounters, several deals I've lost, and these are like multi-million-dollar deals, and several deals that I've actually, changed the course of my career. And for me, I think it's a combination of bittersweet experience, and it's quite an interesting journey for me. And I'll say it's a mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I also understand the power of the networking, the power of relationship, because that is what makes sales an interesting journey. So I'm still learning, and I'm still relearning as well too. But I think it's been an interesting journey for me over the years. Over to you, please. Okay, I'll say it is. So I could remember vividly well during one of our meetings. I was having a conversation with one of the account managers who, was working on a particular deal, a major deal, quite sizable, and because I was involved in the operations of the business, and I try as much as possible to know if there are pain points or there are areas where the MD needs to address. And because I was lucky to have bosses or leaders who were supportive of my dream and vision, I was involved in this conversation, and I asked the question, what exactly is the reason why this deal is, not coming in for us as an organization? And I was lucky to hear first-hand information about the challenges they were experiencing in the bank. And because I had a network of top AAs in Nigeria and in Africa, I just reached out to my team who are like members in the association, and I asked who works in this bank. And it's a top commercial bank in Nigeria. And I was lucky to get an information from one of my team members who happens to be a friend to the director who was in charge of that particular deal. And so I told my MD that I actually want to have a meeting with the bank with respect to this conversation. And as God will have it, I had a meeting, and it was a very successful one. I connected to the director of that bank, and till today, we still have maintained a very good relationship. And from that step I took, to make things, happen, or to make things work smoothly for my team, at the end of the day, we had a couple of meetings, and it brought about a very successful transaction with the bank. And from that step, I just looked at it that speaks to the power of relationship, because you don't know you have certain relationship until you utilize, the network of people that surround you. And I just said to myself, I think, this is something I have to take full force. And, from there, I just, took up the initiative to, start supporting the team. And I started taking up more roles to be able to be a bit more engrossed and be firm as a salesperson. And for me, I think that was the highlight of, how I found myself in sales. So it's in one of my deals, and which I was chasing, quite sizable. And imagine working tirelessly to be able to bring a particular deal home. And because you feel you've done everything it takes, you've connected with the clients, you've given them a provided solution, and not knowing that conversations can actually change overnight. And the following day, I was expecting the purchase order from the bank. And I got to, find out that that particular deal wasn't going to go in my favor. And interestingly, it was quite a tough one, because imagine you've had a meeting with your MD and the ED to tell them that, a particular deal is coming. And the following morning, you discover that certain informations are not going in your favor because there's a different, change of direction which the bank is looking at. And for me, I just needed to just have like a closed door meeting with my ED then. And interestingly, we went to see the top management of the bank just to make them see value in what we are proposing to them. And I think for me, that speaks to how whatever you're doing, until you get to the last goal or end result, don't feel like you have everything under control, because at the end of the day, things could change overnight. And for me, it gave me sleepless nights because my BP was really shooting high during that period. And I was expecting that deal was going to go in my favor. But at the end of the day, because I had a team at the back who were supportive who were supporting back end, were able to, change the trajectory. And for me, I now started going deeper to understand, okay, what exactly was happening? Who are the people who are actually, against us at the end of the day? And interestingly, we're able to have some conversations and try to also revisit the value we're bringing to the table. And I think at the end of the day, it was quite a lesson for me. And until the deal is back home, don't believe it's yours. And I think that speaks to the power of hunting as well, too, because I see sales as like you're going to war to fight. And when you're going to war, you have to bring all your arsenals together to be able to achieve the end result at the end of the day. So, because you have people who are competing with you, and these are people who are ready to take you out of the game. So you have to be resilient, and you have to know that you have all it takes to win. And when you are trying to win as well, to make sure that you have a team who is supporting you back end, and you have people who are also getting that first-hand information from the clients. Let me twist it a little bit. It's not going to be failure. It's more like a challenge, like an obstacle I experienced. And I'll say one of my, though this is like a major, challenge I experienced during my career. Imagine as a salesperson, you have a very huge deal which you worked on, and at the end of the day, because what makes a salesperson survive in business or in your career or make your career fun, is when you see your commission. And that commission is, my brother, is something that can actually change your life. And imagine you brought the deal home, and at the end of the day, you don't get anything in return at the end of the day from your clients or from the company you're working with. I'll say for me, that was a very, very challenging moment for me. And I'll say it wasn't a very good one for me, because anytime I think about that particular period in my career, it puts like a very strong dart and a strong hole in my career, because and this speaks to integrity as well. So, and I think it will be a feedback I'll give to corporate organizations out there and to business owners out there. If you have a salesperson who is a top performer, I try as much as possible to make sure integrity is your watchword. And at the end of the day, because everyone wants to survive and everyone wants to be a successful salesperson, so when you have people who are working for you, try as much as possible to make sure you support their vision and let your word stand for it. Because at the end of the day, when you have people who are like not true to their words, and integrity is not their watchword, it makes the salesperson or probably your team to be disorientated, as at the end of the day. So I'll say for me, what I did was to assess the situation, try as much as possible to have like a conversation with the team and with my management to let them know this is my concern. Try to have a conversation with them and make sure that we reach like an agreement at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, I also try as much as possible not to stay too long on the challenges, because at the end of the day, if you stay too long in it, it will keep going deeper. And I'm always someone who is very quick to come out of a situation and bounce back, because you trust in your guts, I trust in your ability to be able to deliver certain things. So I also try as much as possible to maintain good relationship with people in the industry. And these are people who are my mentors. I speak to them on a regular basis. I pour out my heart to them. So they now help to like, okay, Segun, step back a little bit and try to like see this thing in a different direction. And don't brood too much on the failures or the challenges we've experienced over the years. because at the end of the day, when we stay too much on challenges, it helps us not see the success we've achieved over the years. So for me, I always try as much as possible not to brood too much on failures or stay too long on certain challenges I've experienced over the years. So when I try to reassess the situation, I always try as much as possible to bring myself back up, and I have this, I'm always self-aware, so it helps me to bounce back, quickly as possible, so that it doesn't affect other, parts of my career as well too. Yeah. So because the sales journey is like a game of dice, like I always say, and whatever deal you're trying to close with a client, that's why I always say try as much as possible to have multiple deals in your pipeline. And when I say multiple deals, you have like about 3-4 deals you're trying to close, because when you know that you are not in control and you have multiple deals to close in a particular account, at the end of the day, if one doesn't go in your favor, it puts the client in an emotional state. Because when you're not giving me one, then you should be able to give me either 2 or 3 or 4. Because at the end of the day, you have to get something out from that client. So yes, it can be very, very challenging. It will make you have a tough, can-do spirit. But I think at the end of the day, it's also to be able to understand that yes, emotions will always happen and there will be, difficult times. But most times for me, I always try to step back. There are days when I don't want to do anything and I just try to step back into my shell to try to reassess the situation. Where did I go wrong? And that's why for me, when a particular deal is not going in my favor, I always ask the client a question. Why are you not going with my solution? What exactly are the use cases you're trying to solve? And okay, I'll give you a perfect example. One of the deals I was about closing recently, the client just told me that, Shegun, these are the use cases I'm looking at achieving at the end of the day. Your products can solve 1 to 9, but number 10 use case is very critical to my team or to my clients. And at the end of the day, I asked my OEM, who are my technology partners, can the solution we're trying to push to these clients solve this need? When I got to find out that we have some, limitations around that product, because that's the use case the client is trying to solve. So what I just did is to tell the clients, yes, I see reason why you're trying to solve this particular use case, which I believe is not major, because I know you have this desire to solve this use case. So I told the clients that, yes, you can go ahead with a particular competing brand, but at the end of the day, I have 3 other solutions I'm also selling to you. So we just, had reached a compromise, and he said, okay, Shegun, if I'm not going to give you this, I'm going to give you this in return. So that's the power of, building relationships to make sure that you can be a trusted partner and advisor to the clients, because that is the peak of your career. Because when it gets to the stage where a salesman is a trusted advisor to the clients, they can trust you to share certain secrets or trade secret with you. I've had several conversations with clients where they show me what my competitor is bringing to the table. And at the end of the day, for me, it shows how my client trusts me to deliver results for them at the end of the day. So I always say, every salesperson, make sure your pipeline is as strong as possible, so that even when you lose a particular deal, you are still on the table to make certain decisions happen at the end of the day. And always make sure that your relationship with the client is also very, very important, because I go extra mile to make sure I know certain information that can also be in my favor at the end of the day. So, yeah. Okay, thanks for that question. So I'll say, one thing I always say to anybody is, mindset is everything. If your mindset is focused on winning, at the end of the day, even if you fail, you always find a way to turn things around in other aspects of your life or your career. So I'll say, what I'll say is, approach failure in a different way. Don't see failure as a negative situation here. see failure as a reason to succeed. Because at every point in your life, like I always say, the road will be rough. The road was never meant to be smooth. And the approach for me is always look at it in a different direction. It just reminds me of, there's this 9, this popular thing that we see on social media where you have 9 on the floor and there's someone on the other side who is looking at, we've seen 6, and you're on the side you're seeing 9. And I always say, if you're seeing failure as being 9 on this side, you can as well go to the other side to see 6. And just like what a quote I saw when I traveled to Ghana recently for a business expansion drive, and that really changed the course of things for me, by Kofi Annan. It says, approach failure with the intent that at the end of the day, that failure will lead you to success. Because if you see failure as failure in the real sense, when you approach some challenging situations, it will always break you and destroy you. But when you see things from a different perspective, that failure is a spice to success, every situation you find as failure, try as much as possible to change your mindset towards it. Don't see it as a failure. That's not the end of life. Every day is always a better day. And that's my mantra. Because at the end of the day, what lesson have you been able to learn? Have you done a proper and a thorough assessment of what led to the failure? Be ready to be flexible and be fluid enough to approach that situation or that whatever it led you to that failure, and assess it in a very constructive way to learn. Because I think mistakes we all make in life is when we see failure, we don't learn from the lessons it brings to the table for us. And for me, the lessons are very, very salient. So when we learn the lessons, let's put it to practice in other adventures or other things we try to achieve at the end of the day. Like in sales, I always say, put people to this story of Troy. Imagine the team, the story of Troy when the team on the other hand, they've been losing battles, and at the end of the day, they've lost soldiers. But someone brought up an idea that, can we bring in a Trojan horse into the camp of the enemy? And from there, that strategy changed the course of the battle. So for me, I always say that approach every situation with a different mindset, and at the end of the day, that's failure will always lead to success at the end of the day. Because once we see failure in a different light, there's always light at the end of the tunnel for us. All right, thank you, Michael, for that. I'll start with a story, right? I remember when I was working in when I started my sales career, and for me, I was in a comfort zone, and for me, I was imagine enjoying certain benefits as a management staff, and very good work environment. Things were going on well with business, and but I felt there was something missing for me. In the course of my career, I needed to be in an environment that has an aggressive, sales culture, so that I can be a bit more resilient and more like an hard worker. So I decided to take a pay cut to leave my company where I was, and for me, that was the highlight of my career, because I told my wife then, I said I needed to leave where I was because I'm not getting this aggressive sales culture I needed to build as part of my career, and I took a pay cut. Certain benefits I was enjoying, I said I was gonna leave it behind to just join this small company. I'll say for me, that decision really paid out for me, because within the space of 6 months to 1 year that I spent there, I could see the difference in my hunger for winning as a salesperson, and that helped me to test myself if I could survive the sales industry. And so I think for me is not being too comfortable in your comfort zone, and try as much as possible to stretch yourself. I'm a strong believer in stretching ourselves, because the brain can work as much as you can, expand it. If you try to fix yourself in a box, your brain will work according to that, position which you've given it. But if you give yourself certain dreams or certain vision that scares you, at the end of the day, if you now look back probably 2 years or 5 years, you discover that because you've pushed yourself to the extreme limits, you discover that certain things will now become like a lifestyle for you. So I won't say it's a regret. I enjoyed the fact that I took that pay cut then, and right now I'll say that it's been an amazing journey for me, because I see that the future is bright. And even when we're not there yet, but during the course of the year, I can see that things are actually moving to where we want it to be at the end of the day. So I'll say certain decisions we make today, because we know that this is where we want to be in the future. When we keep working at it and we got on our side, we will definitely get there at the end of the day. So yeah. I'll say for me, what has worked for me is this, right? I always have my short-term goal, my mid-term goal, and my long-term goal. So this is personal, in my personal life, career, or probably as a family man, and in work as a whole. So short-term can be a 3-6 months. What do you want to achieve within a short possible time? Mid-term is okay. How will what you've achieved now probably take it to the next level? And at the end of the day, long-term can be what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years. So I always say that whatever either short-term, either mid-term, or either long-term goal we all have, let's also be accountable for whatever decision we'll take. Because at the end of the day, I'm a strong believer in taking responsibility of my actions. And whatever decision I try to make today, I don't put myself in a position where I feel myself with regrets. If the decision I take today affects my life in the next couple of months or years, I take responsibility of my actions. And that is where we all need to get to, where a point where you take responsibility of certain decisions you make. And at the end of the day, I'm someone who also believe in the bigger the risk you can take, the better your life will become at the end of the day. And for me, I think I grew up in a family where, in a deeper life home, for instance, where certain things when it comes, it's you have to be very modest, and be very careful in certain decisions you make. But I'm someone who I love to dare myself. I love to take certain big risk that is even bigger than what it is my head can imagine. And I've seen it pay out in different ways, because in taking those big risks, it helps me to stretch myself. It helps me to see how much I can achieve within a space of either 1 year or 2 years. And for me, it has paid out in different occasions. I'll give a perfect example. Currently where I work, I took up an initiative with the company, and I said, we've not built our footprints across Africa. And I told my CEO that I would want us to see beyond Nigeria and have our company in West Africa, East Africa, and other parts of Africa. It's a big vision. And I always say, let your dream scare you. If your dream doesn't scare you, then I think you've not dreamt enough. So I came to realize that, and not forgetting the fact that I said, when you're ready to fail fast, So I started this research, started asking my network, started, making some findings around, okay, what does it take to expand your operations across, Africa? And because I've been involved in it before now, I started making research. I had sleepless nights. I had several meetings. I started making some calls. And before I could, say Jack, things were actually working in line. My first trip, to Ghana was quite a tough one. I had several challenges, several failures. People I was expecting I was going to have meetings with were canceling meetings last minute. And at the end of the day, I could remember a particular night I was in my hotel room and I was almost crying. Because imagine your board, they trust in the fact that you are out there about succeeding. And here comes all the plans you've made. It's not coming to fruition. My brother, at the end of the day, I remember that day, the morning I was meant to go for that meeting, I just went to the gym and I put my phone away, went to the gym, and I just started listening to music. Music also helps me to relax and, refreshing my mind. And I also try to listen to motivational, videos to help me refresh my mind. I was in the gym and I just said, I wasn't going to call anybody because I was in a state where I was angry because my meetings were cancelled. Several arrangements I had made for that day was cancelled. And I just told myself, I will go to the gym, I will eat, and I'll forget about whatever disappointment I've experienced. And guess what? Immediately I got into the gym, started listening to music. I spent like 30 minutes in the gym, and something just told me, place a call to someone. So that reminds me, and I always tell myself, when I'm faced with a difficult challenge in my life, try as much as possible to always step back. Don't let that particular situation you're facing overwhelm you. So like I said, I'm always very self-aware, and I try as much as possible to assess the situation in a different light. So like I was saying, so what I did was, for that particular situation that almost went south, with me, with one of my meetings, I now had to speak to this person in, one-on-one, gave him the true picture of what exactly happened. Looking at the situation in a different light helped change the trajectory for me. So that's why I always try in taking risk. I like to access situation from my own perspective in a different way. I try to see things from, how will this decision or this risk influence things negatively? How high or how low is it? So when I assess it, and I love, getting feedback from people as well too. So, or advice from people. That's why I'm always very quick to get feedback, try to assess situation, try to also do a self assessment. And at the end of the day, I now weigh my options. If the decision I make now will change the thing. And because I always have like an open mind to certain outcomes, even if the outcome is not favorable to me, I take responsibility of my actions. And I'm always very quick, to accept, whatever outcome, happens at the end of the day. So yeah, I think in taking risk, I'm always very quick to step back and, reassess the situation to see how best I can handle things differently. Yeah, thank you, Michael, for that. I'll say relationship is everything. No one can survive in business, whatever business you're doing, if you don't have and maintain good relationship with people. And that's why I'm a strong believer in never burn bridges. I think it gets to a point in your career, in your life, where you feel you've gotten to the peak. But when you now see yourself in certain communities or certain environments, you now look at it that you've not even started. So, and that's why, for me, I'm a strong believer in building communities either in a church, either in the professional world, either being part of an association of, several communities, whatever kind of career or whatever profession we're doing, try to be part of that community, because when you're part of that community, you get to interact with people, you get to see people, you get to connect to people, and you get to network as well. So I'll say relationship is everything, because one relationship can change the course of your life. And at the end of the day, I think people don't also understand that the next person you're seated to can actually have the key to one door you're trying to open. And this has played out for me in different occasions where I could remember vividly well, there was a time in one of my conversations where I needed to get to a popular one of these top banks in Marina, and I needed to see the CIO of that bank. But because I don't know, I've not met him before, it was difficult getting access to him. So what I just did, I just went to the car park. I parked. I told the guys around, like, so I'm someone who, when I get to a place, I just make friends with everybody. I just, called one of the guys who was washing the car. I said, please, come and help me wash my car because I need to get it, clean for the day. And we just got talking. I gave him money. I was like, I'm trying to go upstairs, but I don't know anybody upstairs. This is the person I wanted to see. He just said, Oga, you want to see? He just mentioned the person's name. I'm the one that washed his car. For over 10 years, I've been washing his car. That's even his car over there. He just started giving me the breakdown of this person's life. Even is my, now my Oga. She make I connect you to him. What will I do? I said, oh yeah, now. Guess what? Within a space of having that conversation with him, I got access to this person. Just from the guy washing at the car park. And so that's why I strongly believe in never look down on anyone, because the person you're looking down on now can actually be the person who will change, the face of our life at the end of the day. So the power of building relationship is very critical to success. And for me, because to help my sales career as well too, I also volunteer. And that's why I tell people, try as much as possible to also volunteer. Give your service to any way you can volunteer, so that you also get access to many people, at the end of the day. Yeah, so I'll say it was my relationship basically, because one thing as a salesman is your relationship and your network. Once you go to another environment, you carry that same relationship into the next place. And that is why you should never burn bridges as a salesperson. And I think for me, when I was leaving my previous place of employment, I started reaching out to everyone that, I'm moving on to the next, phase of my career. Please try as much as possible to support me and, leverage on the relationship I have with you in my next life. So the same person I was talking about that really helped me in some of my previous conversations, she just said, a top director in the bank, she said, once you resume in your new place, the first week, come and meet me and let's talk business. I said, wow. So immediately I resumed. My day one in my new place, I just went to meet her. I've resumed, offer letter, everything has been signed. Now I'm here. So, and we had a conversation, and after discussing, okay, what pro services we rendered, I identified several opportunities. In short, she was the one that even said, she called several business heads, come and meet. She started introducing me to them. And within a space of, interacting with everyone, I identified this particular opportunity that was, and a deal that they had started with other clients, before. She just told them to hold on with other clients and make sure they involve my new company in the conversation. And that changed the face of my career within the first few weeks of resuming in my new place. So I'll say relationship is everything, because you don't know who will actually help you change and transform your career at the end of the day. And I think for every relationship and for every level we get to in our career, everybody we meet according, at that particular step of the way will take us to the next level of our life, So yeah, I'll say it was a relationship I had that, helped, to identify that opportunity. Okay, thanks for that question. So I'll say the key thing, as either as a leader or as a member of a team, is several traits you must have. And the first thing is, like I always say, is be ready to learn, be ready to unlearn, and be ready to relearn. So ready to learn is learn from people around you. No one is too big and no one is too small in the team. everyone is instrumental to driving up organizational goal, and everyone is instrumental in driving success. So for me, I'm always open to learn and hear from everybody, because I believe in the mantra of everybody matters when we're on the table of discussion. And for me, I think my ability to be able to learn fast, unlearn whatever I've learned in the past that probably has taken me to where I am, if it won't, fit into the culture. Another thing is also to relearn. So I grab from people's perspective individually to help my decision making as well too. So, and for me, I think another thing is, like we always say, culture will eat strategy. So your culture should be as flexible as possible. Exactly. Your culture should be as flexible as possible to be able to involve everybody. And because I've been opportune to work with people who are smart, and for me, I always look at myself as I'm not smart. I'm here to learn from you, and I always make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Because it helps me to also be able to assess myself on how best I need to also, be responsive and proactive enough as a leader. So yeah, for me, I think learning, unlearning, relearning, and be able to also, be flexible in any approach I put myself into. Okay, like I said earlier, right? I think the first thing is to make sure you have what kind of culture are you building in the team. And I think mistakes most leaders make is creating a divide and rule kind of policy within the environment, which creates a toxic culture. And I feel if you have a team that understands the value they all bring to the table, which I always say, every leader should have a culture that doesn't stifle innovation. Innovation in the sense that people should be able to say something. They should be part of a system that works. They should be part of building the team, because at the end of the day, when a team member feels like his voice is not important, or whatever he says is not going to bring any result or not going to add value to the company, they will end up going back into their box, and their level of innovation will not be exposed. So interestingly, I feel leaders should also be able to build a culture of innovation, a culture where everyone should be responsible for driving the team. And also a leader should also be ready to serve, because when he's ready to serve, the team members are also looking at him as a form of maybe like a mentor or a source of inspiration. And like I always say, a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So if everyone knows that with you, with me, we can move the team forward, they will always, be responsive and be a bit more proactive to driving the culture and the goal at the end of the day. I think for me is trying to learn from people, which I'm very strong on. I ask questions a lot. I'm always open to learn from people around me, from friends who have gone there before me, so I can create my own what works for me. And I also make good use of YouTube videos as well too. If there's a particular topic I need to learn from, early in the morning you will see me play YouTube videos where I'll watch. And one of my top sales guys I look up to within the industry is Grant Cardone, and Grant Cardone is quite a renowned sales professional, and Eric as well. So Eric Filmos is also someone I look up to as well. So because I love the way they bring in real life scenarios, and they make it look real, and at the end of the day they make you see reasons why you can't. Failure is just a tiny bit of what we're talking about here. And at the end of the day, they make you see reasons why certain things should not be a big deal, because you should be ready for the worst, situation. And at the end of the day, that shouldn't define your personality. So yeah, I'm always open, and I always look out for people who I can learn from. And I have mentors where I ask questions. When I'm at my lowest, moment, I ask them questions and they help me. And I'm also a strong, believer in reading books as well too, to help me learn from those that have walked apart before me. I'll say it's not an easy one because sometimes you just feel like like just quitting, and I feel at every point in time is just to understand that you have to just get it done, because if you don't get it done, there are younger generations who are coming behind you who will probably outrun you to do what you try not to do at the end of the day. So I think it's just understanding what is at stake, and it's either you do it to get to the next level. I think one thing about that I've also come to realize is if you're trying to grow your career, it gets to a point where you need certain credentials or certain exposures or experience to be able to take on the next level. So if you don't do it, then you won't grow, because at the end of the day, that's MD role that you're looking at achieving at the end of the day, it's not going to be a reality, because it's either you do it and you just whatever challenges you face along the line, you just brace up for the reality. And I think importantly is also having people who can be your accountability partner as well too, which is very, very key. People who can ask questions like, you said you were going to do this, why are you not doing it? And for me, I think I'm lucky to have people around me who surround me, and we talk. So from hearing some of my friends who I'm like, I just finished my MBA and I just finished a particular course, it helps to also spark some level of interest to also, challenge me to be a better version of myself at the end of the day. Yeah. I think I'll say achievements I've had in my career is doing what others have not done before, and be it where the company has been in existence for over 30 years, and when I come into the team, I just take on new initiatives that has never happened before, and coupled with also taking up some initiatives that seems too difficult to achieve at the end of the day. So I'll say the highlight of my achievement has been winning some multi-million-dollar deals for an organization where I worked, and this was a deal in one of the top commercial banks in Africa, in Nigeria, and across its subsidiaries in Africa. So I'll say for me that was more like the highlights of my career as a salesperson, because it takes understanding the power of teamwork to be able to drive certain results at the end of the day. And I'll say it took sleepless nights, lots of midnight meetings, 1 a.m. meetings, 2 a.m. meetings, to be able to make sure that we were able to have a successful end result at the end of the day. So I'll say that was one of the key highlights of my career as a salesperson. Another is where I currently work, where I'm driving initiatives across several regions in Africa. It's a new milestone for us as an organization, and I think that has really pushed us beyond our limits, making us see reasons why we can actually achieve certain results. And because it's not a step which we've taken before, and seeing that I'm part of the team that actually is driving this, it's quite remarkable for me in my career. Yeah, so one thing I always say is this: for everyone out there, it's never too late to achieve your dreams and your goals and aspirations in life. And most importantly for me is mindset. Your mindset is everything, and whatever mindset you have, whatever thing you're trying to achieve at the end of the day, nothing is impossible. Because having a strong mindset, a can-do spirit, is very important in whatever we're trying to achieve at the end of the day. And for me, I'll say exposing ourselves to people who will always support our vision is also very important, because I strongly believe in the power of mentorship. I believe in the power of serving and volunteering to be of help to other people, because as you're trying to help another person, you're also learning from it, and also helping to update whatever skill sets you have at the end of the day. And I think one thing is also to understand the fact that failure is just what adds curry, what adds time, what adds Maggi to your success at the end of the day. And for me, it's also to understand that failure is not the end of everything, of anything. When you are trying to achieve a particular result at the end of the day, don't be afraid. Be ready to talk about it with people who have been there before you. And I'm very strong on learning from people who have been there before me, because it helps me to be able to see how best I can harness their energy and edit whatever I need to edit, and imbibe the culture in myself at the end of the day. And I think having a can-do spirit is also very important, because when you face challenges in life, it helps you to become stronger, it helps you to become resilient, and it helps you to become more stronger for what lies ahead as well too. And I think what I'll say to the youth out there is, have a short-term goal, have a mid-term goal, and have a long-term goal. 5 years is never too late for you to to project what do you want to do, what do you want to become, where do you see yourself in the next future. And don't be afraid of your vision. Let your dreams let it scare you, because your dream should be something like remarkable, that where people will say, are you sure you know what you're talking about? But at the end of the day, when you take baby steps, like the Bible says, write your vision and make it plain. Write every step along the way, and also document your failures as well too, so that you can learn from the lessons you've been able to see along the way, and it helps you to become a better person in the future as well too. Yeah, for the youth out there, I'll say, as they say, lazy Nigerian youths, it's okay to be lazy, right? But be ready to know that life won't wait for you, and certain decisions you make today will definitely lead you to the next life trajectory of your life. And I think be ready to embrace change, be ready to take up certain decisions, be ready to learn from people, be ready to look for a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, I challenge you out there to look out for someone who you look up to, and just tell the person what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day. And the sky is just the beginning, and it is a starting point. So don't be afraid to face certain challenges, and try as much as possible to have a can-do spirit, and let your mindset be focused on what you want to achieve at the end of the day, because it's never too late to start again. If you have to start from square one, it's never too late to face the bull by the horn and change the course of trajectory of your life at the end of the day. And even if you have parents who are not supporting your vision, look out for people who can actually stand the gap for you to help you achieve whatever you're trying to achieve at the end of the day. And don't be afraid to speak for what you believe in, and whatever you believe in, if you are consistent at it, give yourself 6 months, give yourself 1 year, just keep at it, correct the mistakes you've made, and learn from your failures. And I believe once you look at it and you're focused on what you want to achieve at the end of the day, that's where you start achieving success at the end of the day. Thank you.